What's up, Yu-Gi Tubers? It's HeartbeatHunter89 coming at you from the Duelist Den, and the voices in my head told me it's time for the next segment of the game comparison discussion. Now, I do need to bring up one point real quick. In the last video on the comment sections, somebody pointed out that there was a couple pages in the appendix of the Pokemon rulebook discussing Pokemon GX and EX and things like that. Well, it does get you one or two pages. Unfortunately, in my first video, I said I was cutting the appendixes, the glossaries, the note pages, and everything like that out. So it unfortunately does not officially count. So, in this video, we are going to be discussing the methods of winning each game and the complexity of the game mat layout or the field layout. Now, as the points currently stand, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! In the lead with 3 points, Magic at 2 points, and Pokemon at 0 points as far as the most complex game. So, with that in mind, let's get this video started.
Feel tensions rising, I hear voices in my head. They count to me, they understand. They talk to me, they talk to me. They tell me things that I will do. They show me things I'll do to you. They talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. They talk to me, talk to me, talk to me.
Okay, the first thing we're going to be talking about is how to win between each of the 3 games. Now, all 3 games have 2 similar methods of winning. The first is decking your opponent out, which is if your opponent has no cards left in the deck and they will be forced to draw a card, then they automatically lose. The second way is winning via a special condition. Now, what that means is if you have a card effect that says you meet these requirements, then you automatically win. Alright, now Yu-Gi-Oh! Only has one other way of winning, and that's reducing your opponent's life points to 0. Pokemon has 2 additional ways. That is claiming all of your prize cards, and the way you claim a prize card is you knock your opponent's Pokemon out and you get a prize card for it. Or in the case of EX and GX Pokemon, you get 2 prize cards, or the A+ Pokemon, you get 2 prize cards as well. But anyway, you get prize cards for knocking your opponent's Pokemon out. And the 4th way for Pokemon is knocking your opponent's active Pokemon out while they have no Pokemon left on their bench. So that's 4 ways for Pokemon. In Magic, we have 2 other ways as well. You have, of course, reducing your opponent's life points to 0. And the 4th way is in poison damage. Now, poison is a little bit tricky. The way it works is your creature has to deal damage, or has to have the poison effect on its card. Now, when it attacks, it doesn't deal actual damage. It puts poison counters either on the creature that's blocking it or on the person that it's attacking. Now, once you have 10 poison counters, you automatically lose. So that's 4 ways, or 4 main ways for Magic the Gathering. So right now we have a tiebreaker for this part between Magic and Pokemon with 4 and 4. So I had to find a tiebreaker. Now in Pokemon there was no other way to win in any other format. With Magic, on the other hand, we have the Commander format. Now in the Commander format you have your Commander or your General, and the Commander format is also commonly referred to as EDH. But anyway, in that format you have your Commander or your General, whatever you want to call it, and if that creature deals 21 damage to your opponent, then that opponent automatically loses. So, that bumps Magic up to 5 different win conditions, which gives Magic its 2nd point so far. Yu-Gi-Oh's at 3, Magic's at 2, Pokemon is still at 0. Alright, the next thing we're going to talk about is complexity of the game zones, or of the game fields. We're going to start with Pokemon for this. Pokemon, in the bottom right corner of the field, which you can see it on the screen right now, has the deck zone. Right above the deck zone, you have your graveyard, or your discard pile. To the left of the deck, you have your benched zone, which is where your benched Pokemon go. Right above that, you have your active Pokemon zone, which is where your active Pokemon goes, and that's the Pokemon that is in play. Just to the left of that, of where your active Pokemon goes, is where you activate your trainer cards, whether it be items, supporters, or stadiums. Then on the far left of the field, you have the prize cards. And those are where your prize cards go, where you get them out as you knock out your opponent's bench Pokemon. Okay, moving on to the Yu-Gi-Oh! field. You should see the image of the Yu-Gi-Oh field up on the screen right now. Anyway, Yu-Gi-Oh, you have the deck zone in the bottom right. You have the graveyard right above that. On the far left corner in the bottom, you have your extra deck zone, and in the top left corner, you have your field spell zone. Now, in between the extra deck and field zone and the deck and graveyard zone, you have your pendulum zones. Now, those going to count as one zone, but that's where your pendulums go. In between the extra deck and main deck are your spell and trap zones. And then in between the field zone and the graveyard are your main monster zones. So that puts 7 different distinct zones for Yu-Gi-Oh! And 6 different distinct zones for Pokemon. Now, as far as Yu-Gi-Oh! Is concerned, this is actually the second iteration of our field that we've had. In the first iteration, we only had 6 zones because the pendulum zones didn't exist until about a year or so ago when we got the pendulum monsters introduced. And here in a few months, we're going to get another change to this field, whereas the pendulum zones will be removed, and we will get 2 new zones called the extra monster zones. And here's an image of how that will look as well. But anyway, now that you've seen the new way it's going to be set up, you can still see that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has 7 zones, either with the current or with the new one that's coming up. Now, Magic. Magic's going to be a little bit tricky. In the Magic rulebook, there is no official way for the field to be set up. So, here's a picture of a field that I set up with my cards. It is a mock field. This is not an official way to set up, but this is generally how most players set up their field for Magic the Gathering. Okay, in the bottom right corner, you have your deck zone. Just above that, you have your graveyard. Now, in the commander format, just to the left of the deck is where you put your commander, and as you can see in this picture, I've got a commander right there as well. Okay, so, just to the left of the deck zone is where most players generally put their land cards. Right above that is where the general consensus is that the monsters go. Then, just to the left of where the lands go, that's usually where people play their planeswalkers. Right above that is where they place their artifacts, and above that is where they place their enchantments. Now, where the artifacts and enchantments go, I'm only going to count as one spot. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to count it as 6 zones here. So that puts Pokemon and Magic at 6 zones each, and Yu-Gi-Oh! At 7. Now, here's the thing. Because Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon have a set way the field is set up, Magic does not. So, as far as complexity goes, and like I said, what I just showed you is the basic way that the field is set up for Magic players. But unfortunately, because Magic has no official way to set up the field, even though you've seen that mock-up and there would really only be 6 or 7 at most if you count artifacts and enchantments differently, I'm going to have to give this one to Magic merely because there is no set way to put this field at, and you can put your field any way you want. So I'm going to have to give field complexity to Magic the Gathering just because it has no set way of putting it up, and it's harder to stick around and follow where things are if your opponent's not setting things up the exact same way you are. So, for the course of this video, Magic has gotten 2 points so far. Okay, so for the final tally currently, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Sitting at 3 points, we have Magic sitting at 3 points, and Pokemon is still at 0 points. Damn, Pokemon needs to catch up. I'm hoping to do at least 2 or 3 more videos over this segment, so stay tuned. Until next time, like always, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, get your friends and family, anybody you know who plays these games on here to like the videos and subscribe to my channel. But until next time, this is HeartBeat89 from the Duelist Den, signing off.
Take a shot at me, running side by side.